Okay. Bad lighting, but I don't care. It's all good. I don't know what time it is. Just took a nice shower. I was thinking in the shower about a topic that I want to talk about. Especially given certain events that have been happening over the past couple months, and even before that, but at least in my mind. The topic of me being gay has come up pretty I would say, I don't know, maybe in some situations that topic comes up a lot, but I feel like it has come up too often in an environment in which it doesn't come up at all for it to be not a sign or a trend towards things to come. And I think many of my video journals, which I tried to remain as open and honest as possible. Usually it hasn't been, well, usually it's been quite easy for me. I think in certain topics, I feel very comfortable being, is the word loquacious? Either or. Loquacious, I think, because it has a Q, but it might be silent, about those topics. And I can't actually remember a time where I felt uncomfortable to say something. But now is one of those times. Because it is something that, although I haven't tackled it very seriously, it has not been a topic of conversation in a long while, and I don't think I can remember whether the conversation was impactful at all with either my friends or my family or anyone. So yeah, this topic is quite hard. It's hard even to say the word gay or queer or just any of those words in relation to myself, even talking to myself. It's all well and good to say these terms on like a theoretical basis or discussing certain things or whatever. But yeah, strange, for sure. I'll just say what I'm thinking in my head. I feel that as though the topics that I've talked about so far are sort of subjective to my experience and hold no value judgment in my own eyes, or hold no perceived value judgment in the sense that I don't think other people will perceive what I'm saying with any sort of value judgment. It's usually sort of observations or lines of thought or just thinking. But for me, this topic today feels a lot more personal. And that's not to say that things I haven't said are not personal, it's just that it's just, I feel uneasy. I just saw a picture of myself in this office, where the sun is behind me and my hair is tied up, so it looks like a sprout. It looks like a flower is coming on my head. It's pretty cool. That's probably the most uncomfortable family photo I've ever seen. Anyway. So, I feel like there's a lot of layers. I wouldn't call them layers, but there's a lot of different aspects to this topic. Maybe I need to get into some sort of mode of thinking rather than feeling this uncomfortability. But there's a family side, there's a societal side, community side, and /friend side. So from family to friends to community to society. I think I go from inwards to outwards. And of course, first starting with how I feel. So the self. And that way it'll be easier to organize. So, how do I feel about being queer? I feel like even when I say the word, it seems to not fit me. This goes directly into the community thing. I feel about the simple fact of being queer. I feel fine. I don't really feel anything. To me, it is just a fact. And I have no, personally, I feel like it doesn't affect me that much. That is to say, if I existed in a vacuum where only my thoughts of myself existed, but obviously there are interactions with other outside factors that make my internal feelings a lot more complicated on the subject. Starting off with going one more circle outward, which is my my family. I don't think my family I don't think I don't think they are homophobic. I wouldn't say that. Actually, I would, but not to the fanatical extent. It's the kind of phobia that comes with a distrust of the unknown, of the new, of an idea that is beyond, not beyond comprehension, but simply exists as something outside of the bubble of life, as queerness as a topic of discussion, or as a debating point or a policy point, not as a personal thing that could ever impact the structure of the family, extended and, nuclear, if that makes any sense. And so, of course, these questions have come up quite often, or small innuendos, like a little probing, so to speak. Less so from my parents and more so from my sister, for a reason I cannot describe or discern. But anyway, I always deny. I don't think the feeling is shame. I think the feeling is just uncomfortability with introducing more tension into the family than there already is. A new topic to argue about, a new underlying, like, a ticking time bomb, or, the elephant in the room, which there are many currently, and to shove another one in there would be a stupid idea. That's essentially how I feel. And I don't know. one step outward goes to friends. I don't really know how I don't think it would affect my friendships too much. At least I hope not. In the same way that I see being queer as honestly an afterthought, something that doesn't really impact the way I treat or see people. I don't know, I hope my friends would treat me the same way. At least, no, do treat my queerness in the same way and not treat me any differently. And then it goes to community, which is the bigger topic for me, which is that I don't really feel queer enough, if that makes any sense. This is just my personal experience, so I almost feel like I am not, don't fit the label. And not in the sense that I don't fit the label in a purely factual stance. From the definition itself, yes, I 100% fit the label. The problem is that I feel like I'm not queer in the sense of being a part of the community or feeling like I'm match or am comfortable in the community. For me, I feel almost too interested in being normal. Or not interested enough in exploring my queerness or in exploring the queer community. I struggle with that, especially. A lot of the time I feel as though I have stolen something that does not belong to me. Maybe this feeling is shame to some extent, but I don't really feel that. I feel more guilt. As if I'm not taking this seriously enough. Which is a strange feeling to have. Societally, I 100% feel that, well, at least in my personal ideology, I always value the oppressed over the oppressor, or the power. I wouldn't say, well, those are too strong of a dichotomy. It would be more like people with more power, I value. People with less value, not less. Sorry, there's a fucking blender going off at who knows how late it is. Like, jeez, blender now? What am I doing? What I mean is, I always value. Not value. Value's the wrong word. Christ, this blender. I believe people with power have a responsibility, and people with less power, their responsibility diminishes. That is not responsibility for their actions, that is more responsibility for the well-being of others around them, right? It is fine to be self-interested when you have less, when you are disadvantaged, but it is not okay to do that when you have more. I think that makes sense. And queer people are a minority in the population, but they are definitely a loud minority, and a minority that demands well, basic treatment, basic human treatment, and to not be demonized or villainized, and I think that is completely fair. And the fact is that they are outnumbered, and contrary to what people may believe, they their voting power in this country is not particularly strong, because obviously their population is low, so they have to rely on the support of other people, particularly on the left. And yeah, I mean, I have given them my support, and have believed that their cause is good. So that's how it relates to society at large. And simply put, I do not feel like a particularly oppressed individual because of my queerness. I'll just segue into another topic that might or might not um, create any sort of addition onto what I've already said. But a lot of people make fun of me for my hair, like a surprising amount. And additionally, a surprising amount of people have mistaken me for a woman, which, well, at first glance, after I speak and after they see my face, less so, but okay, I'll have to start from the self again and then expand the circle to organize my thoughts. Personally, I find it funny and a little bit gratifying, simply because I tend to dress and try and keep my hairstyle as I guess balanced towards neutrality. I try to keep my form as ambiguous as possible on purpose, and I don't know why that is. It's just how I am, I guess. And I do not claim to be trans or gender fluid or anything like that, which some people have asked me if I am, and I'm not. My queerness has only to do with my sexuality. And I don't know, it's now expanding further, it is a little bit annoying to hear my family constantly bring up things like that as though they're negative, because for me it's a positive, and obviously I can't say anything about that. I just say that it doesn't bother me. For my friends, they don't treat me any differently. They just think I'm like growing my hair out and wearing what the clothes I want to wear, so that's fine by me. And I couldn't give less of I couldn't care what society thinks about what I wear and how my hair is and whatever. Yeah. I don't know how I meant to say, like, how I meant that to relate to what I was talking about previously, but who knows. I think in general, I simply feel inadequate for any sort of community. I feel either lacking in knowledge, in experience, in time within the group, time with members of the group. The customs, all the necessary etiquette to exist in a particular community, with obviously traditions and customs, etc., etc. And I use traditions and customs as in encompassing very specific shared ideas and events and actions that are shared by a specific community. I feel like in certain aspects of my identity as a human being, or what makes me who I am, which is another topic in and of itself, but I think labels like queer or your job or like, the things that you do, artist or climber, there are certain groups or communities that correlate with those labels, and I often feel a sense of being left, of not feeling like part of the group in a sense. And that's fine. It's just a little bit strange. I will say I 100% feel more comfortable in the groups that I closely try to identify with. I feel more comfortable with people of those groups than I do anywhere else. But I still feel apart somewhat. Yeah. I don't know what else to say or what this even means. I don't think I came to any new conclusions or anything like that. I think I just needed to say something. Often it isn't about someone speaking back to you, it is just simply about throwing words out into space.